Don't let your child ignore you. The secret to reaching your child's heart. Hello everyone. Today I'd like to share with you a topic that every parent has encountered at some point. How can we ensure our children don't ignore what we say? Sometimes, just a moment of their silence can leave us feeling frustrated, even helpless. But friends, let's not be quick to blame our kids. This behavior can stem from various reasons. And if we understand them, we can find ways to connect with our children more effectively. Let's dive into the key points of this story together. I'll talk about how sometimes kids are so focused on what they're doing or playing that they don't respond to us. Then there are times when they pretend not to hear because they don't like what we're asking of them. Most importantly, I'll share ways to reach their hearts, so they not only listen but also cooperate with us. Let's get started. When kids are too focused, don't assume they're ignoring you. Have you ever called your child and gotten no response? Only to think, are they deliberately ignoring me? But in reality, it's not always like that. Sometimes, kids are so absorbed in what they're doing, whether it's playing with Lego, drawing, or watching their favorite show, that they genuinely don't hear us. This isn't intentional, it's simply how their developing brains work. I remember once calling my son while he was building with Lego. I called and called, but he stayed silent. I started to get annoyed. But then I learned that young children, especially before the age of 5, can only focus on one thing at a time. Their brains aren't yet wired to multitask, to play and listen to us simultaneously. Around ages 5 to 7, there's a phase called the 5 to 7 shift, where their ability to concentrate takes a big leap forward. But before that, let's not be quick to judge them. They're not ignoring us on purpose. So, what can we do when they don't hear us because they're too focused? Try these simple steps. Walk over to them and gently tap their shoulder to get their attention. Bend down, look into their eyes, and smile. A smile makes them feel safe and loved. Once you've got their attention, make your request gently. The key here is, connect before you direct. When kids feel our care and presence, they're more likely to listen. I've tried this, and it really works. Not only do they hear me, but they also feel closer to me. When kids don't like what we ask, pretending not to hear. Now, let's move to another scenario. When kids deliberately pretend not to hear us. Have you ever said, "Time to go to bed," only for your child to act like they didn't hear a thing? I bet you have. Sometimes, they think, if I don't respond, maybe mom will forget about bedtime. Sound familiar? Even we adults do this sometimes, don't we? When kids intentionally ignore us because they don't like what we're asking. The first thing is not to get angry. Recognize that listening isn't just about hearing words, it's about their willingness to cooperate. If they're not cooperating, it might be because our request isn't appealing enough, or they don't feel connected to us. For example, instead of saying, "Go brush your teeth now," you could try, "After brushing your teeth, we'll turn on the Minion lamp. Okay?" A fun, mutually beneficial suggestion can spark their enthusiasm. But here's the catch. Don't repeat your request too many times. When we keep repeating ourselves, we're unintentionally teaching them, "You don't have to listen the first time, because I'll say it again." That's not a good habit to instill. Let me share a little story. I once told my son, "Oh see, we need to leave for school early today. Do you want to go now or in 5 minutes?" He said, "5 minutes, please." But after 5 minutes, he was still playing with Lego and said, "5 more minutes, please." I was tempted to get upset, but I took a deep breath. I walked over, connected with him, and said, "I love how you're building with Lego. Want to bring it along in the stroller?" He got up happily right away. Or I could have said, "Let's race to the door and see who gets their shoes first." This approach not only gets them to cooperate but also avoids conflict. Connection is key. Don't expect them to listen without a bond. Friends, the most important thing I want to emphasize is this. Don't expect your child to listen if you haven't connected with them first. Connection isn't just calling their name or looking at them. It's about making them feel that we truly care and are there with them. If they're deliberately ignoring us, ask yourself, have I gotten their attention yet? Have I tried making the request more appealing? Am I walking alongside them through the process? Don't let yourself get angry. And don't let it escalate to them yelling. Stay calm, be flexible, and find ways to ensure they don't have the chance to ignore us. But if you've tried everything and they still won't cooperate, don't worry too much. Sometimes, they need to cry a little. I used to think crying was a bad thing. But I've learned that tears can be a way for them to release emotions. A child who acts tough and uncooperative might be emotionally numb. When they cry, they feel lighter, and afterward, they're often more willing to work with us. Closing, the journey to your child's heart. Dear friends, parenting is never easy, but it's filled with joy and meaning. When our kids ignore us, it's not a huge problem, it's an opportunity to understand them better and connect with them more deeply. Remember, always connect before you direct. Be creative and flexible in how you communicate. And don't be afraid to let them express their emotions. I hope these insights help you feel more at ease in raising your children. If you faced similar situations, try these tips and let me know how it goes. Wishing you and your kids happiness and a strong, loving bond as a family.